So you finally got the green light from your physical therapist or your chiropractor or your doctor to start working out. And I just wanted to go through my mentality as a personal trainer. I've been doing this for a long time, 15 years plus. And I recently did something very stupid in the gym about 3, 4 months ago, and I got a slap tear on my left shoulder and quickly went to my physical therapist to get all the rehab protocols for it. And whether or not you're listening to this because you saw the title about recovering from injury, or if you have a slap tear yourself, it might be worth it to listen to my protocols because it's pretty much for every type of injury anyways. So stay tuned. Real quick, is losing weight after 40 while still enjoying your social life a challenge? Well, you're not alone because that's pretty much everybody. On the Over 40 Fitness Hacks podcast, I share insights from my 15 plus years as a personal trainer and gym owner, helping people like you strike the right balance. For those ready to take action, please sign up for my online personal training program on my website or through the link in the show notes. Together, we'll design a plan that fits your lifestyle and helps you achieve your goals without sacrificing the fun. And remember, everyone is different. We will find a program that works for you. So anyways, if you want to hear my whole story of how I got this slap tear and what it is, listen to episode 508. But basically, just a shoulder injury. And any type of injury, I mastered the process over the years with clients and a few times myself. And I always like saying that when you talk to your doctor, medical professional, whoever that may be, and they tell you that they want you to take, 3 months off, 4 months off, and you do that, you are really losing grounds on keeping your muscle mass. And I know there is sometimes doctors say that because you cannot have your heart rate elevated or some other blood issue, then that's fine. But I always say ask questions, because when I always talk to the doctors, including my dad, and I really push it to them and say, why can I not work out my leg if my upper body's injured? Or why can't I work out my upper body if it's just a leg injury or back injury? And then when you really push them, they're like, oh, well, okay, I guess if as long as you feel safe and you feel comfortable. So why did you tell me to stop in the first place? Because being over 40 and trying to keep this muscle on is impossible. Recovering from all these setbacks and injuries is so long. You got to keep moving. You do not want to just take time off. It takes forever to get it back on. But anyways, I did my 3 months of rehab exercises through my physical therapist for my shoulder injury. Finally got the green light to start going back and using weights. And I've done this a few times before. You never want to just jump back in. So at the time, before I got the green light, I was doing 3 days a week split, leg and abs, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, to try to capitalize on, well, if I can't use my upper body, it's going to start atrophying. Let's at least juice up the legs a little bit more than usual. If you've been listening to my podcast for a while, I got to be careful with that because I have a L5-S1 back injury that I feel great on, but I will not push it too much. So I really did a lot of therapy type exercises, Pilates type exercises, and a little bit of heavy lifting that I feel comfortable doing, and got in a real good routine for those 3 months for my legs. So now getting back into the gym, I keep that 3-day split and basically tone down my leg exercises just a little bit, keeping some of the heavier stuff in there that I'm comfortable doing. But now week 1 is every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I do 1 set of each muscle group, and 1 set of shoulders, 1 set of bicep, 1 set of triceps, 1 set of chest, 1 set of back, and not really going to failure, but feeling like I worked the muscle out a little bit and using really lightweight. So for my shoulders, I think I used 5 pounds, my style, nice and slow, time under tension, 5 seconds up, 5 seconds down. It was too light, even with, coming off an injury. Doesn't matter. You still do it. And with chest and back, I think I used 10 pounds, 12 pounds, and then proceeded to finish the week off that. So felt great. I did notice because of a slap tear, on a slap tear, the bicep tendon is also part of the problem that attaches up here next to the shoulder socket, and it's been nicked. So I did notice even on those 5-pound weights of going real slow with the bicep curls, I felt either too much tension in there, maybe the ligament's not stretched out enough, maybe there's scar tissue in there. It just didn't feel right. It didn't hurt. Well, that's why you do this. You do not want to re-injure this after you already spent 3 months of your life recovering. I made this mistake back 7 years ago when I had my first back surgery for L5-S1, and going too fast too quickly, which my surgeon and my physical therapist at the time, said I could, and I felt I shouldn't. So that's why I say take longer than what they say besides just walking. So anyways, I finished week 1. Week 2, I kept the same routine up. I was feeling great. I'm trying to finish all my workouts still in a half hour. If you've been listening to my podcast, I do half-hour workouts. I time it and I get out. So the faster you can complete the most exercises, if you get the most bang for your buck, that's it. So did the same thing, leg routine, abs, toned it down a little bit so I can get into these upper body movements. And for bicep, triceps, I went from 5 pounds to 10 pounds. For chest and back, I went from 10 pounds to 15 pounds. On chest, I felt like I needed to go a little bit more, so I increased it to 15 pounds. And then I noticed for bicep curls, even though I was doing a little bit heavier weight, okay, I feel a little bit less tension in there. Maybe I'm starting to stretch it out, so maybe it was just a scar tissue, but not pushing it. And then I finished off with a little bit of angled TRX push-ups to get a little instability on there, but at an incline that was easy that my grandma could do. Week 3, which I finished up last week, increased the weights again. Now I'm feeling no problems on bicep curls. I feel a lot stronger on chest and back, and I increased that by, I think, 5 or 10 pounds on those. Still pretty pathetic compared to what I was doing before. That's fine. But this last week was the first week that I started feeling, I got a little contraction going on. And also by the end of week 3, I started noticing I'm starting to put on a little bit more muscle, which for one set on each exercise, this time till failure, with 70% less weight than I'm accustomed to, it just proves to show you that if your diet's on point, all you need is stimulation, and it doesn't even need to be that much to get these muscles to grow. Yes, if you want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, you got to put a little bit more work, but to keep this baseline, it's just insane, like how little you have to do to put some lean muscle mass on. The one thing I did through this entire process was I did not mess up 7 days a week on hitting either 180 grams of protein to 200 grams of protein to be able to hold on to what I had. And I think that was just huge in bulking up my legs a little bit more to keep my BMR up to help with fat loss, but to slow down the atrophy on the upper body as well. And sure enough, once I started kicking back into these upper body workouts, like I just said, I'm seeing results which I shouldn't be when I'm bench pressing 25-pound dumbbells, when I'm used to 75 to 85 pounds on chest press. So now I'm excited I can work out. I feel no pain. I just, did some bicep curls with a decent amount of weight. I feel no pain. And I never had any problems shoulder pressing, which is funny, but it was just the biceps that was having the issue. But now I'm getting more motivated. I'm glad that I took all that time for physical therapy. I'm glad that I eased into this because now there's nothing stopping me from getting right back to where I was. And that's the thing with muscle memory is if you've had this before, don't worry. Getting back to where you were, that's the easy part. Getting to new levels of fitness that you've never been to before, that's the grind, and that's harder. Strength training, putting on muscle if you've never had it before, if you're brand new to this. So already I knew this was going to be a breeze. So in 3 weeks, I'm halfway there. I think in another 3 weeks, I'll be doing all the same weights that I did before. That's insane. So when you're injured, chill out. Don't worry. It all comes back. And one thing I thought I always preach, doing one thing at a time and building healthy habits, which I've done, my whole life. And even during this process, I think I fine-tuned it even more. Like I am sitting here weighing my meats. I've got my supplement on point, and now here I am about ready to get healthy. And I can already tell that I'm going to hit my goal of 190 single-digit body fat in the next month. And this is without even trying. And this is with partying and having a social life on the weekends, which is the whole reason I started this podcast. So every now and then it's nice to get a break. Sucks that I got an injury to do it. And on that note, I had just did a podcast back at the time I got an injury with Nikki Ping from LifeWave. If you want to check that out, it's 515. But these stem cell patches from LifeWave, it's called S39. If you listen to the podcast, it basically tells you the science behind how it can help you stimulate your own peptides, your own stem cells to help do this. And if you do have an injury, they say to put it right on the injury spot. If not, it's usually on lower back. But I'm telling you at this point, week 3 of lifting weights with a decent amount of weight where I think I should feel something in there, I'm feeling nothing. So I'll definitely report a couple months later when I'm doing my full round, full heavy weights of everything. Do I feel anything? Because I know for slap tears, I don't think I've met anyone or met any physical therapist or chiropractor that has had someone that has a slap tear that has ever fully recovered 100%. It's just not possible. It's always going to build up scar tissue in there. You will know what your new maxes are because you'll get to that spot on like a bench press where you would feel a slap tear the most, or bicep curls. And almost everyone that I've known, you will find your new max, and you got to be either happy with it or get surgery. So I'm hoping that these stem cell patches have done their job to where I can go right back up to what I was doing, no problem. And that if that's the case, I am sold on these stem cell patches. So right now I'm putting these on my lower back where they were intended in the first place, which happens to be where my L5S1 injury is. And like I said, I'm feeling great. I got a great routine for that back, but it is still there. I still feel the phantom pain. I still feel some nerve issues every now and then. And I have to be real careful. It would be real nice if something happened with that disc. So I'll keep you updated. And thanks for listening. And any of you who are injured out there, remember, slow down more than what your doctor and physical therapist said. You know, it's okay to do something, just tone it down, take longer to recover. That's my opinion from all the injuries I've ever had. And once you start working on your physical therapy and working the smaller muscles, and for me, it was the shoulder joint. And while this side is injured, I let the other side atrophy. I went through the whole protocols with this one. If you're going to be doing this recover process, you might as well just make sure that other side is up to par as well with all the fine tuning that you should be doing. So thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.